In this episode, we're going to take a look back at the first month of the Atlas Earth Challenge Reward Ladder. I'm going to take a look at how I performed compared to how I thought I was going to perform at the beginning of the month, how much I ended up having to put into it versus what I got out of it. And if that's not enough, towards the end, I will reveal a couple surprises that I ran into. So if this sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Hey, all you Atlas Earthlings, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here saying, hey, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate your time. Okay, well, it's been an interesting month. It's been a month full of the Atlas Earth Challenge Ladder. I don't want to say competition. It's almost like I'm competing with myself, though, to try and get through these challenges. So in this episode, we're going to discuss that and the feelings I have on that. Before we get into that, though, if you're new here and you just stumbled across this channel looking for a new play to earn game, I would strongly consider Atlas Earth if I were you. This is a game where you get in and you collect parcels of land around the earth in various countries. You do a lot of things on your mobile phone that you would probably normally do, like play games, do surveys, and things like that. And you earn real money off of that. If you want to find out further information, check the show notes for a link to a video I have that describes everything on that. I will also link that video on the very end of this video. So if you're watching that, you can automatically click onto it and go into it. And if you decide to go ahead and try the game, please use my referral code in the show notes to get started. If you do, at your 11th parcel, you will win, or not win, you'll earn 200 free Atlas bucks. And I get 100 out of it as well. So it's a win-win situation. You get twice as much as I do. Okay, so on with the show. The challenge reward ladder in Atlas Earth was added at the beginning of November. So this is the first month. And as I had told you in previous videos, I wanted to take a look back at the end of the month and see how I did. So we're going to do that. But overall, I think it's a system that they put in place. Obviously, when you put a new system in place, you never know quite how it's going to work out. However, you do know what you're trying to do with the system. And it was clear that Atlas Reality was trying to encourage more participation in the game, in the various aspects of the game. Get people to participate in the mini games more, get people to do more surveys, get people to buy parcels more often instead of waiting for large amounts of time in between, saving up and tier jumping. And this is just my take on it. So you may have a different take on it. If you don't think I'm right about something, just tell me in the comments and we'll talk about it. But I think the whole overall system was to encourage people to put more activity into the game, put more time, basically encourage also spending more, whether that be time or actually Atlas bucks or actually money. So obviously it's kind of a win-win situation. We win by earning extra Atlas bucks, and potentially if you were lucky enough to make it to the end of the challenge, you can win a badge, or you can win a parcel upgrade. But overall, it took, this isn't revealing anything. It took a lot more activity than I was normally used to putting into the game, but that was the objective, right? Right up front, I think one of the major things that people didn't like when the system went live was that the challenges were gated, okay? In other words, if you passed the buy parcels 1 part of the challenge, it didn't automatically open buy parcels 2, level 2, and so on and so forth. It was just this running line. You have 10 challenges available at any one time. When you meet the requirements for one, that goes off your list, and then the next one pops up. And there's probably some other intricacies to how that works, but that's the basics of that. A lot of people felt, I think, that when the numbers were released and the details of the challenges, which we talked about in the last video on this topic, they felt that they could go in and then they could just pick and choose what they wanted to do. Hey, I'm going to travel this month, so I will use all the travel, or I will do all the buy parcels. That's the situation I got myself into because I had to strongly change the way I don't know if strongly is a word, but I had to change the way I played the game a lot. And I think that's what the intended outcome from the development team was, or the management, right? They wanted people to interact with the game more and more frequently. This makes the company more money, right? But on the flip side, it also makes us more Atlas bucks to progress our game as well. So in my case, I was getting ready to do a multi-tier jump. I had saved up a bunch of Atlas bucks to be able to do a multi-tier jump in the month of November. And I discussed this fully in one of my last videos where it's titled, I spent 20,000 Atlas bucks. It was a little bit more. It was like 21,500. But I bought a lot of parcels, and I explained why I did that in that video. But due to the new challenge ladder, I was not able to just go out and buy all those parcels at once and be done with it. I had to divide those parcels up so that I could pass. Well, I didn't have to, but to meet the various requirements for the buy parcels level 1, level 2, level 3, which I ended up passing. And then finally, ended up passing level 4 at the very end of the month. Today, one day before the end of the month, I finally got that challenge and was able to pass that. But that's a different, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But that represents the gating and the reason I think that the team used the gating to get everybody, force everybody, basically, if you wanted to progress, you had to go ahead and meet those other challenges. For me, the challenges that really took effort were the mini games, because I'm a guy, and I've said this in various videos before, I don't like those timing-based mini games. Up to this challenge, up until the challenges started, I didn't participate in them. So I think largely it's a form of gambling, right? You pay 2 Atlas bucks to be able to play the game, and then you progress, and then at the end, the person who's the top on the leaderboard, the various leaderboard positions, win a certain amount of pot. It's kind of like a 50-50 raffle type thing, right? Those people who get those top positions all the time are good enough to get those, then they make out like bandits now. So other than the development team and the company that owns the game, those people that that are good enough to place at the top of the boards really are making out after during this process, because a lot more people are playing those mini games. Either way, I'm using that as an example of one of the behaviors on my part that had to be modified. Okay, not only did I have to split up the parcels I was going to buy in November, but I also had to start playing those mini games. And frankly, just to get off on a little bit of a tangent, those mini games, the first couple levels was not too bad. You can play a couple mini games and it not be a whole lot of sweat. You can win, 2 or 5 or whatever it was. But once I got up to that third level of mini games, I was really straining myself, because it's tough to get 15 wins. Okay, to get back on track, I was actually surprised how far I made it on the ladder. I had progressed, it took me all month. I had progressed, and I had made it past where I thought I was going to make it. I thought I was going to make it to the 16 to 1800 point range, but I made it further, and we'll take a look at my exact numbers in a minute. In fact, it came down to this like today. It came down to the day before the last day of the month, before I, spoiler alert, I completed the challenge. But that's not the only surprise I have for you, and we'll discuss it in a minute. But I had completed most of those challenges through level 3. Okay, there were a few of the challenges that I did not partake in. I did not partake in the travel. Okay, I wasn't one of those people who did the cheesy pay $5 for a hotel room in Bangkok or wherever. Not that I really have anything against it. You pay for the room, you're not going to use it. However, obviously, this was ripe for the looking bad for the program, having the program kind of throw fraud flags, right? So obviously that was changed early on, and now the minimum, if you're going to do the travel, hey, it's a great way to earn Atlas bucks if you're going to travel, right? But to me, I wasn't going out of town, so I was not going to use the travel program, so I just didn't use it. I also did not use the by state badges because I couldn't. I was not going to go out of state, so I didn't have any state badges to buy. The 2 states I live right here by, I've already got, right? I didn't use the buy country badge because guess what? I already have my country and I'm not going to another supported country. So there are a few instances where I didn't use those to earn Atlas bucks in the program. However, largely most of the other stuff I did, and I did progress through at least level 3 of most of them, and a couple of them we went through level 4. Okay, here we are on my challenge ladder here, and you can see that I completed the full thing. But to tell you the truth, before today, I had made it down to the buy 180 or earn 180 at the 1800 mark. I'm straining my eyes to see that because it's kind of small, or 1900 mark, I guess. And this is where I will tell you the second surprise about this. I went ahead and paid the $15 to subscribe to the premium side of the ladder. Okay. If you had joined me earlier this month, you'll know that I missed out on subscribing for November because I tried to subscribe on the last day of October. And then an announcement came out that said, well, if you hadn't subscribed by really early that day, then the subscription would not count. So I went ahead and canceled that subscription. So I was playing free to play. Okay. Now, about midway through the month, I started thinking to myself, I wonder how much Atlas bucks I would have to earn to be able to make it worth it to spend the $15 to back subscribe to the premium. Okay. Now, at this point, I'll take a step back and I'll tell you, if you don't know, you have 2 ways to subscribe to the reward ladder challenges. Okay. The first way is to pre-subscribe, and that means go to the website, put in your credit card, subscribe for next month. If you do that, it's $9.99. All the time, if you go in and do the subscription for $9.99, you will be active for the following month. Okay. Now, a common question we got on the boards, and I've gotten a few times, is that, hey, how can I, somebody made it midway through the month and they decide that they want to go ahead and subscribe and get both the premium side and the free side. Well, that's the $15 option. That's a $14.99 USD option. If you do that, then you can collect all those back rewards that you've earned on both sides, right? So that's what I ended up doing. And as you see, I ended up making it almost to the end today. I was set with the challenge I had to overcome was buy 40 parcels. This was the 4th level of buy parcels. I had already completed level 1, 2, and 3 earlier this month, and you can reference that 20,000 Atlas buck spent video for that. And I figured I just was not going to make it to level 4, so I went ahead and completed what I wanted to do, which included taking over mayor of my area and everything. But I was just rolling through the challenges, and lo and behold, the buy 40 parcels came up. I had already been saving for my next tier jump. Okay, so I'm already in contention with another person in the area for mayor. I'm mayor, but I wanted to get a safer lead on him, right? So I had to make the decision. Okay, at this point, I didn't have enough to do a full tier jump. Okay, I had to make the decision: do I buy 40 parcels and break tier? We've discussed this before, the whole theory of tier jumping, which means save up. The whole topic of tier jumping can be referenced on your chart here on the Atlas Reality support page. I'm here in the United States, so I'm using the United States chart. However, if you're in one of these other countries, just make sure you're referring to the right chart. Okay, the numbers I use are for the U.S. because I'm playing in the U.S. Right, but the idea, and I get asked this a lot, is that if you go to 150 and you're sitting at 150 parcels, as soon as you buy that extra parcel and go to 151, then you in reality start losing rent money because you go from 30x down to 20x. Now, as you make your way up in the tier to 220, at a certain point there will be a break-even point, and that's going to be like at 210 or something like that, depending upon the rarity of your parcels. But at that point, you're break-even to what you were at 150, and then every parcel you buy on top of that, you start earning more than what you were. Okay. So, and there's several other variables in this conversation, but that's the basic idea of tier jumping. So in this situation, I had to make the decision: do I want to go ahead and buy those 40 parcels, break tier, and lose rent for the time being, for a short time, but pick up an extra, what amounted to be 260 Atlas bucks. Okay, that was very tempting. Usually I would not be tempted to break tier, but for 260 Atlas bucks, it was very tempting. Now, add on top of that the fact that that would get me within striking distance of completing the whole ladder and also earning the free badge and the free upgrade, parcel upgrade. That was very tempting to me. So as you can tell, I went ahead and did it. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll into a montage of me buying 40 parcels. I know this isn't a lot compared to the last video where I did over 200, but a lot of people like watching this. Check the links in the show notes if you want to skip over the montage of the rarities that I got. On the back side of this, we'll discuss what the numbers look like. Okay, so first off, let's discuss the personal cost of the challenge ladder. And this is to me, because everybody else is going to be a little bit different, but a lot of these numbers are going to be the same if you completed it to the full level that I did, okay? The first thing I will say is the first biggest cost is that I decided to go premium. That's 15 bucks US, okay? So let's go further. Total up, completing 4 levels of buy parcels, that's 71 parcels. Obviously, that equals 7,100 Atlas bucks. Okay, that's one cost. The second cost, convert virtual rent. If you are not going to convert rent to Atlas bucks, then this is a non-expected cost. You have to decide whether you want to do that. In my case, I did the first 2 levels. That was $4 US worth of rent converted to Atlas bucks. That equals 100 Atlas bucks because each one was 25. Unfortunately, the timing for me was not there and I didn't get in on the 33 Atlas bucks. Okay, so it is a cost, but I did get Atlas bucks out of it. Okay, something to think about. Now, the purchase city badge. I did not do this very much. I only did the first level, so that cost me 200 Atlas bucks. I did not go very far because obviously at this point in time, I am concentrating on doing parcels. So I'm concentrating on getting my parcel count up, and I will not be concentrating on getting city badges or state badges for that matter until I get in the 650 parcel range. At that point, I'll start thinking about it. Now, as the months go, I probably will do the first level because it's pretty easy to go ahead and pick up one city badge at the cost of 200 Atlas bucks. And, they just generally mount up. By the time I get up there, then whatever I have will help me out, right? So, but that is a cost. The next thing I will note is the mini game costs. I did not keep track of. Okay, so each mini game you play, each match you play does cost 2 Atlas bucks. However, if you lose that, then you can turn around and try to recoup it by watching the ad and then hitting that little meter. Depending upon how lucky you are, you can come away actually ahead a little bit if you can hit that 3 Atlas bucks. But that is a cost worth mentioning. The AMP missions. This is also an unqualified number here because AMP missions cost real life money, but you are getting products and services out of these AMP missions. These only apply to U.S. residents currently. The team has said they're working on this in other countries, but it took 2 years to get the AMP program live in the United States. So there's a lot of red tape and everything. And I think he said it all comes down to varying credit card laws in different countries. So a lot of paperwork there. But I wanted to bring this up because, for instance, like one AMP mission might be me buying salads for my family at Salad Works. Or, I also went down to the auto parts store and bought some things for my car, So each one of these things you do, I did one where I ordered a coffee cup from the online swag store over at Atlas Earth. That counted. We gave that away in last week's live stream. In case you don't know, we have a live stream where I discuss Atlas Earth and also other Web3 games such as Splinterlands, Saturday, 11:30 Eastern time. If you'd like to stop and talk, we just basically talk about gaming and what's going on. But I gave a coffee cup away in a recent live stream because I was celebrating 2,000 subscribers. So I ordered that for the person. They sent me their address. I shipped it to them, and I made some Atlas bucks off of it, and it qualified as one of my AMP missions. So technically, if you're discussing this, there is a cost to it, but you are getting products and services out of it. So these are generally things, I don't know, I would say half of them are things that I probably normally would have had, like salads or sandwiches. Other things I did have to go out of my way to do, and probably they did add to my costs that maybe I wasn't going to do in that month, but who knows? But that's worth mentioning because AMP missions do cost money. Okay, the next line I will say comes under cost, but this time costs time and effort. Okay, so these don't necessarily cost money or Atlas bucks, but they do cost a lot of time. And that's the rent boosting, which normally, if you're playing this game, you're going to do anyway. The mini games, arcade goals, surveys, coming down till yesterday, I got the final level of surveys and I had to complete 25 surveys, and holy cow, I was not looking forward to that. But trying to push towards the final goal in the ladder, I gritted my teeth and I went ahead and did them. So my main point here is that these are all costs, whether they be actual money, in-game money in the form of Atlas bucks, or your time and effort. Now, this slide describes what I got out of it. This goes into my reasoning behind why I back subscribed for the $15. These are the rewards that I got off of completing the ladder with the premium side. So first up, I figured the numbers on parcels at the next bundle price per parcel lower. So what that means is if it was 100 parcels and then the only package I could get was 90, then I figured at the 90 rate, and then I divided it out and multiplied it by the parcels. If my math is wrong, if there's something majorly wrong here, let me know in the comments. But I thought it was this is what I based my decision on, basic math. So all in all, I got 1,355 Atlas bucks off of the challenge ladder from claiming the free side as well as the premium side. And if you multiply that and divide that out, that's about 54 US dollars worth, plus or minus a little bit. Okay. I got one badge for completing the ladder. That's 200 Atlas bucks worth. And I got one legendary parcel upgrade at the company sell rate is 2,500 Atlas bucks. So the total here is 4,055 Atlas bucks at the rate I'm figuring at is about $158 plus or minus. Okay, so we take the $158 minus the $15 I paid, and we have 143 US dollars profit. Now, all in all, is that a true profit? No, because like we said, there was other stuff that went in, so there's other variables to this. But this is the most basic math look at that, and that's the reason in my head why I said that I was going to go ahead and the last few days of the month back subscribe for that $15. Once again, okay. So the big question here is how did that affect me overall? Okay, so where I presently sit at the end of the month is a different number on where I started at the beginning of the month. If you want to see the full numbers on that first triple tier jump I did, check the show notes for a video link titled "I Spent More Than 20,000 Atlas Bucks in Atlas Earth." This is where I'm sitting now, okay? And I will take a look at this. I'm at 435, which is at the top of the 10% tier boost, okay? And this is where I stand, where I did stand. Slightly more in the common, rare, and epic than normal as far as higher percentages, or slightly lower than normal, rather, and then slightly higher in legendaries. You will see that my average is about 77 cents per day, or 281 cents per year, if all considering all things are perfect. You hit all the boosts and everything like that, and even all the SRBs. Now, I will go ahead and add the updated numbers. Okay, so here are the updated numbers. I'm now sitting at 475, which, yes, I know I'm mid-tier, but I wanted to use this as an example of what actually happens when you break tier, okay? And we can see that I'm below average on all. I don't know how this can be, but I'm below average on all of these. So I'm at 53% on common, 29% on rare, 12% on epic, and 4.8% on legendary. Either way, that's how it turned out. And the major thing of interest here is that now I'm at 72.5 cents per day versus the 77 whatever, and then I'm at 264 a year versus the 280 something. So you can see that breaking tier, as per my previous description, really affected my my rent. But in the big picture of things, we're in the middle of an SRB now, so getting those extra parcels actually gave me some extra rent at this point in time. And in the back of my mind, I know that December is getting ready to start, and I'm going to be able to go ahead and start climbing towards the end of this tier and the break-even point relatively soon in the next few days. So it didn't bother me a whole lot, but it was a consideration I had to make. And in the end, I made the decision to go ahead and grab all those extra Atlas bucks, and it ended up with completing the tier and getting that badge and the legendary parcel upgrade. Okay, so this has been a recap of my month, the first Atlas Earth month of the challenge ladder. Let me know in the comments what you think after your first month, the things you ran into that you liked, the things you didn't like. And the two big surprises and takeaways here for me was that I had put so much time and effort towards the end of the month into the system that I went ahead and spent the $15. I never thought at the beginning of the month I would even entertain the idea of spending $15 on the program. However, when I did the numbers, it was pretty well worth it, right? All the Atlas bucks that I got for that $15, I figured it was more than $50 worth of Atlas bucks in and of themselves that I got for $15. Okay. The second big surprise was that I ended up actually doing enough to win the final prizes on the ladder, which I didn't ever expect that I would hit. And I earned enough to go ahead and pre-subscribe for December. Now, do I think that I'm going to win the prizes for December? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to put as much effort and time into the program that I did in November, because frankly, I put a lot of time and effort into this program, and you need to complete all these challenges and do everything that's entailed. Do I think it's impossible? No, it's not impossible. Some people were reporting, completing it halfway through the month, but those might also be people that have all day to concentrate on doing this stuff. I have to work. I recently had an operation. I've been off for medical, so I'm getting ready to go back to work. I'm not going to have that time. But I do think that it's worth the $10 if you can make it at least halfway through the challenge ladder. Now, to be exact, I'm going to have to do another video and compare the numbers, but I went ahead and pre-subscribed, and pay attention for the next video next month sometime towards the end of the month to see what I ended up earning and if it was worth the $10 and if I'm going to continue to go ahead and subscribe. Either way, this has been Bronze Dragon. I hope you got something interesting out of this video. Please like and subscribe, pass it around to your friends. And hey, we just passed Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Say thankful for all the blessings you have in your life. I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in Atlas Earth.